all we're going to do here is cover up section 1 there. So you're going to put the strip of paper down so it's along that line. I like to hold it there, get one of my little tiny strips of sellotape and just sellotape it there. So just as you're learning the technique of this, I've been quite thrifty with my paper there. It does go over onto the card, but there's not loads. And you can see this bit goes over the crease there of the card, and that's where we're going to be folding. So what I like to do at this point, you can use a pencil just to show you where you're going to cut, and you just want to snip that off there so that it doesn't stick out over the edge of the card. So I'm just going to snip that off. Then this will all be hidden, so you don't have to be super neat. If you want to be, that's fine, you can work in that way. So that's colour 1, covering strip number 1. I'm going to use orange for the second one, and I'm going to cover piece number 2. So you'll notice this overlaps the first strip. So what you're doing is overlapping all the way around as you work. Stick that on. Just mark that just inside this fold of the card. You see, otherwise you've got all this, and you can reuse the paper obviously as you're working. So you're making the most of your paper. If you don't have any origami paper left, you've used it all up for something, or you want to use something different, you can use Christmas wrapping paper. You can use a page from a magazine. You could use an old Christmas card if you have that. Don't use very, very thick card, or it's a little bit awkward to use, but you can use anything for this, and the effect looks really good. This is pattern 3. So obviously I'm going to go over section 3 there. Just hold that down. The first 4 are the trickiest just because they're nearest the edges of the card. As you work in, it just gets easier and easier to do. I'm keeping the paper, just I'll move this along so you can see. So I've got colour 1, colour 2, colour 3, and this is going to be colour 4. And then I'm clear about what I'm doing and I don't get muddled. So I'm on to colour 4. That's going to go over there. And then we'll mark that off. And snip. And then I'm going to put that back in the pile. So that's the first layer done. And then all you're going to do is carry on working round. So obviously you've gone 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll go 5, 6, 7, 8, and keep working in until we've covered all the sections over. I'm going to carry on doing that now, and then show you at the end when it's all completed. Okay, so that's all of the sections completed. So one or two parts there where I needed just to double check. So the two ways of checking are that the paper you're adding looks the same as the one underneath, but obviously they turn a little bit. So the real double check is to lift it up and have a good look at the front. So I'm happy with that one. So I'm going to carefully take off that little bit of sellotape that was holding it to the pattern. Turn it over, have a look. Let's move this pattern out of the way so we can see properly. So we can see that each colour twists in. Let's lift that a little bit closer. So each colour turns in, there's 4 sections of each colour. It makes a nice, ooh, I've just seen, oh, I think that's part of this pattern. So that's okay. So you can see it all twists in. Now then, the middle section, so remember we're going to be covering that over on the back like that, making a nice clean looking card inside. What you need to decide now is which way up you want your card. So you can have it that way, so that this is the bottom of the card. You could put a Merry Christmas sticker on, you could write something on. I'm going to choose to do it this way and turn it into a bauble. I'm going to draw a little pencil line on there just to represent the string, and I'm going to just draw a little bow on. Obviously you can take your time on this, or you can use one of the little bows in your sticker pack. Do that however you want to do it. So you've made a nice little card there. The next thing to do is to stick the back on here. So you could put a little bit of sellotape so it'll fold over nicely. I think what I'll do, could use glue, but just be a bit cautious about that so it doesn't make it go soggy. It spoils the professional look of your card if you do that. If you don't have any double-sided tape, you can just make a little loop with sellotape like that, so you're making your own double-sided tape in effect. Just before I do that, if you want to add anything into the middle, into the iris, now's the time to do it. I just had a look in a magazine. You could put a little bit of mistletoe in there like that. If you've got the tiny iris, if you're using the more complex one, you might need something smaller. There's a tiny little pug dog you could stick in with a bit of your paper there as backing. So if you wanted to do that, you could stick a piece of paper behind and stick the little pug dog underneath those little flaps there. So anything that makes it more personal, the person you're sending it to. So for this one, I'll just stick that down for now like that. So you can see I've trimmed all the ends. There's a tiny little bit sticking out there, so you can be a bit more perfectionist than I am if you want to with that. And then there we'll have our card. And write your message inside.